All right, guys, so our Baltimore Ravens are just days away from hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 2025 NFL playoff race. We got Lamar Jackson talking about his mindset in years past in the playoffs, as well as this year's mindset heading into the playoffs, as well as a massive update on wide receiver one, Pro Bowl wide receiver Zay Flowers. We also got a quite funny clip from Roquan Smith on his teammate Nnamdi Madubuike, as well as some other clips and highlights from media analysts talking about the Ravens, how dangerous they can be in this year's playoff run, and many more updates. So welcome into another episode of Ravens Reports. It's your guy Noah here with For the Flock, as always, bringing you guys our top 5 news reports and storylines coming out of our Ravens today. Let's dive into the content. At number 1, Lamar Jackson, our guy. We know all the criticism that he's received over the last few years. We know the 2-4 playoff record that's constantly hung over him. We know the history with the Pittsburgh Steelers, that Lamar has not always typically played his best games against the Steelers, but he is so locked in right now, so dialed in. And he talked about the motivation from the AFC Championship loss last season, as well as his guy Zay Flowers, what it would mean if he's out, but also the confidence in Rashad Bateman. Let's play a few of these clips before we talk about some other injury updates and practice reports and everything. Here's what Lamar Jackson had to say on the motivation from last year's playoff exit.
Even during this week, do you ever think about those past games to either as motivation, or is your mind just going forward?
No, my mind going forward. I don't really think. I was young in the beginning, and it happened fast. It don't happen fast. But the only one I do, to be honest with you, the only one I do think about is the AFC Championship. That's probably the only playoff game I do think about. It was right there. But my mind, I'm focused now. Though, it is what it is at this point.
What did you think about in that game?
We lost. That's it.
Has that been a motivational chip for you for this team and this whole season?
Yeah, I believe I said that throughout the season. I thought about that. Yeah, definitely.
Well, but now we're here for the second season, so.
Got to worry about the Steelers now, though.
If you guys remember that clip from Lamar and Odell trying to comfort Lamar as they were so close to Lamar's first ever Super Bowl appearance. That loss has stuck in the minds of Lamar and all of his teammates that were hungry to get back here to this moment where you're in the playoffs, you have a shot at winning it all. But it's so apparent. One guy that definitely is going to have to help the Ravens to win it all is Zay Flowers. We know he left the game early with that knee injury against the Cleveland Browns in the Week 18 game. Zay Flowers, 1,000-yard receiver, first Pro Bowl selection, homegrown wide receiver ever for the Baltimore Ravens. The chemistry was built in the offseason with Lamar, second year in Todd Monken's offense. We know all that, but he has full confidence in Rashad Bateman and the chemistry that's building there as well. Rashad Bateman with 9 touchdowns this year, made a ton of plays, especially in big moments. Here's what Lamar Jackson had to say on Zay Flowers and his guy Rashad Bateman stepping up to be the guy if
Zay Flowers, but how does this offense compensate if he's not available?
Man, next guy up, but hoping he can come back, hoping he got a chance. We don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully we have him. But if not, another guy step up and we're going to be ready to roll.
Lamar, you lost him earlier in the game last week, and then Rashad Bateman really stepped up in the connection with him. 9 touchdowns this year. His progression, how much of it do you attribute to the fact that he simply was healthy all year? And you guys had that time then to really work it out. Yeah, like you said, him just being healthy, and he been had that in him, though. Bateman always been that type of guy. I feel like we left more. It's still things left out, that he didn't get, on the field during regular season. But hopefully, this playoff run will make things happen.
The last clip I want to show from Lamar is the playoff mindset, about how in years past maybe he's been a little bit too antsy. He was younger and experienced, and he's so excited he wants to make things happen, but has to pull back a little bit, calm down, and let the game come to him. When that happens, when Lamar Jackson's out there having fun, he seems unstoppable. When Lamar Jackson gets frustrated, anxious, all those things, right? He starts to get thrown off his rhythm. That's whenever you can start to get to Lamar a little bit, as we've seen in years past, where there's self-inflicted wounds and penalties and stupid mistakes, turnovers and stuff. That's where, the offense historically for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens over the last few years has stalled out. So that's what they're trying to avoid. Jeff Zrebiec asked Lamar Jackson about that mindset. Here's what Lamar had to say.
Lamar, is it Do you have to remind yourself not to be too amped up for games of this stakes? Is that something that in your career you've sort of, I don't want to say battled, but is that something you still have to remind yourself to settle down in these games?
Yeah, I just be too excited. That's all, too antsy. Like, I'm seeing things before it happen, like, I got to calm myself down. But just being more experienced, I found a way to balance it out.
By the way, Lamar Jackson, he just won PFF's Offensive Player of the Year award, 2024 selection. He had 4,172 passing yards, 915 rushing yards, 45 total touchdowns, and a league best 1.4% turnover-worthy play rate. Lamar Jackson also led the entire NFL in EPA, and it wasn't even close. So expected points added per dropback, 162.2 versus 144 for Jared Goff and 133 for Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson, and by the way, the last few years, the last 8 seasons, the leader in that category, 6 of them have won the MVP. So we'll see what shakes out as far as MVP voting. Lamar Jackson's got his mind on bigger things, however. At number 2, so check out this clip from CBS Sports. I think it was Pete Crisco that's speaking on this, about how the defense has improved, and that's why they can win the whole thing this season. Check out this clip here.
Well, I thought Lamar Jackson coming off an MVP would have another big season. You add Derrick Henry to the mix. I thought their defense would be significantly better than it was early in the season. We're starting to see the best of the Ravens defense now. So this is the team I expected to see. This is a dangerous team. They can win it all. There's no question in my mind they can go win it all. If they can get the pass rush going, which they've done lately.
Yeah, they can do it any number of ways on the offensive side of the ball. And to your point, that defense has come around. And it's not like a group of no-name defenders that are out there figuring out one another's strengths and weaknesses as the season goes on. They have a lot of stars on that defense, and it's not a team you want to get hot defensively if you're the opposition.
We also got Derrick Henry, who hasn't been in the playoffs in 3 years. And he talks about how 5 years ago I was in the AFC Championship and I've been wanting to get back. He said in his speech to the Ravens locker room after the win against the Browns, he said, it's got to be different. We got to get back there, and it's got to be different. We know, we can feel it, we can smell it. The energy's in the air. Here's what Derrick Henry had to say on the postseason mindset. Excited to be back in the dance.
Derrick, you mentioned that it's been a few years since being in the playoffs. What do you think it's going to be like, get back in there and getting some carries in the postseason again?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a different atmosphere during the postseason, because everybody knows what's at stake. So just excited to be back in the atmosphere. Like I said, on Saturday, it's been a while. So
I just feel like Derrick Henry has got to be featured. If Derrick Henry and Lamar in the run game is featured on some of these option plays, and we can get some and we get these tight ends and receivers to make big splash plays. This team's really dangerous in the playoffs, especially because over the last 7 games, the Ravens defense has averaged about 15 points per game allowed, which is the best metric for the last 7 games in the entire NFL. So the Ravens now playing complete football. Offense, defense. Justin Tucker also getting a little bit more dialed in with his kicking. The Ravens can make some noise. All right, so we got some more updates on Zay Flowers. Kyle Van Noy, he made a quote on his podcast, on his McCoy and Van Noy podcasts. He says he's expecting Zay Flowers to go. It was also reported by Kyle Phoenix Barber that Zay Flowers was spotted walking in the locker room with just a minor brace on his knee. And Van Noy saying he's played before whenever he hasn't practiced. Here's what he had to say.
Zay got a little banged up, but knowing Zay, he's played when he hasn't practiced. He's a tough little sucker, bro. He's from Broward County too. You know how those Broward County kids, they for real over there down in Florida. They love football, and he's gonna do everything he can to play. I'm going into expecting to see him on Sunday, just knowing who he is as a person and him as his competitive nature. We'll see, but that's I'm going in knowing that I got him in the game. That's for sure.
At number 4, we got a Marcus Williams restructure that took place that essentially cleared up some money to be able to be used for cap space earlier than it would have been. The Ravens We know they're going to part ways with Marcus Williams. It was just a matter of some financial bookkeeping type of things to kind of make that restructure work a little bit better on the books this upcoming offseason. But the safety play that they've gotten out of Kyle Hamilton and Ardarius Washington has been absolutely phenomenal. Just showed you how deep this roster was. The fact that one of your highest paid players on defense gets benched, not even on the field, and then you have a guy like Ardarius Washington, and there's other guys in the roster that have stepped up as well, but just shows how deep the roster was built. Shout out to Eric DeCosta for getting that done. At number 5, the Ravens. This seems to happen every year. Because of John Harbaugh, Ozzie Newsome, Eric DeCosta, Steve Bisciotti, the leadership that is breeding excellence in this organization, it has led to a lot of development all throughout the organization. Guys work their way up. They get developed. The talent, the hard work ethic, it all prospers with the Ravens organization to where a lot of guys get opportunities elsewhere. We saw it this offseason. You know, our director of player personnel and the big guy with the draft, and Joe Ortiz, he went to go be the GM for the Chargers. We know Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator, went to go be the head coach with the Seattle Seahawks. There's already interview requests for 2 absolute jewels, stars on our offense. T. Martin, quarterback's coach, who helped Lamar Jackson have the best season of his entire career, and offensive coordinator Todd Monken, who has helped orchestrate one of the best offenses in NFL history. I'm not exaggerating on that. There's so many numbers we've talked about in these videos. Speaking of the videos, side note real quick, a lot of times if you keep coming back to the channel, YouTube just keeps feeding you the content. And a lot of times people don't even know they're unsubscribed. So in the last few videos, we've had 50% of our watchers of the channel are actually unsubscribed. And if you don't mind, man, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any Ravens news content. A lot of people don't even know they weren't subscribed because YouTube just kind of keeps feeding you the videos. So that would go a long way, and I'd appreciate it. But quarterbacks coach T. Martin and offensive coordinator Todd Monken both being requested for interviews. Offensive coordinator Todd Monken is being requested to be interviewed by the Bears and the Jaguars. Obviously, we don't want distractions right now. There's going to be some guys that get attention. If Todd Monken leaves, if he gets a head coaching job somewhere, we got to have T. Martin take over. We cannot let T. Martin go and get poached as well. I think it would be T. Martin getting promoted as the offensive coordinator, but he's also so valuable as that personal quarterbacks coach that right there on the sideline with Lamar to show him things throughout the game. But big game against the Pittsburgh Steelers upcoming. So much at stake. It's a familiar, intimate rivalry. The Ravens know the Steelers know the Ravens. John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, they have a lot of respect for each other, but they do not like each other as far as playing each other on the football field. They want to win. They are competitive, and everything's on the line. Everything's at stake here. Pride, history, a whole off season and season of hard work. Everything on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Massive game. I can't wait for it. You guys already know I have confidence in our Ravens. But however, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not to be overlooked. Their defense is so strong. Russell Wilson has playoff Super Bowl winning experience. George Pickens is a guy. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren are guys. Pat Freiermuth. So it's going to be a dogfight. But I like the dogs on the Ravens side. I think Patrick Ricard and Derrick Henry in freezing temperatures are going to give the Steelers everything they can handle and more. So, and you guys know that I'm open about my faith here on this channel. This is a Christian channel, and I always want to give the glory back to Jesus. And I love to see football players coming out all over the country, college, pros, talking about their faith and being open about it. I want you guys to take a listen to North Dakota State's linebacker after winning their championship in their division, what he had to say on his faith. So I'll leave you all with that clip. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you in the next video.
I must say that the reason I'm sitting in this chair right now is because of the God that I serve in his grace, and his son Jesus, who died for me, who saved a wretched sinner like me. I'm nothing without Jesus. and he saved me, not because of what I did, but what he did 2,000 years ago on the Roman cross. And that's why I'm sitting up here, and that's a greater joy in my life than any accolade that we'll ever get.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.